biggest question that I have for Kyle Shanahan. Like, if Larry asked me, like, Damon, what question should I ask Kyle Shanahan this week? Oh, I got my answer. Here it is. What would you do if you knew you had two really good running backs? What would you do? I'm guessing an awful lot of you in your own head, or maybe even out loud in front of your laptop, your computer, are saying, I would play both guys. I would too. Why doesn't Kyle? I don't understand it. I really do not understand it. Like, Jordan Mason wasn't just having like an okay year. Jordan Mason was leading the NFL in rushing. Just a few weeks ago, Jordan Mason is leading the NFL in rushing yards. He's getting like 6 yards per carry, basically. And he goes from leading the NFL in rushing to abducted by aliens to a total vanishing act. Like, that's my biggest complaint this season, Kyle. That's my biggest what the so far of the 2024 49ers. Everything else to me looks like football. Missed on a draft pick, didn't get aggressive enough at the trade deadline, losing to a division opponent who's familiar with you. Like, all of that stuff, I get it. You don't have to explain it to me. You would need to explain to me why the return of a really good running back makes you totally forget that the other guy on your team was just leading the entire sport in rushing yards. How is that possible? Right? That to me is the big, like that's what bothers me the most about Kyle. And that's not Kyle trash can emoji. Kyle isn't good at this. Kyle can't get it done. No, that's a legitimate, like, here's an example of something I would like to see better than. Why are you telling me, like, a guy who is leading the NFL in rushing yards this year over the last 2 games, both of which were slogs, he gets 3 carries. A grand total of 3 carries for Jordan Mason over the last 2 games. Here's the other thing I don't get. Let's just say you drafted a running back. And after a certain degree of, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, after a certain degree, we've got ourselves a decent emerging running back in Isaac Guerendo, who just had an October that says, hey, maybe you have found a little something here in Isaac Guerendo who can help you win games. Isaac Guerendo had a really good October. He's gotten 1 carry so far in the month of November. 3 carries for Jordan Mason, 1 carry for Isaac Guerendo. And what would you say it is you're doing here in your running backs room, Kyle Shanahan? Again, leading the NFL in rushing, vanished. Player you drafted who just had a really good month, vanished. I understand how good Christian McCaffrey is, but Christian McCaffrey isn't exactly like totally up to speed. So why not use the other guys just a little? That to me is the biggest blind spot of this season so far, and the thing that I cannot understand more than anything else. There are all kinds of indicators that it wasn't going to be your year. The holdouts, the Ayuk injury, your number 1 draft pick gets shot in broad daylight. All kinds of just ominous things around this season that, you try to dismiss and you try to say, well, get past that. And then the 49ers will get past that, and the 49ers will round into shape. And as we have seen time and time again from Kyle Shanahan teams, the second half of the season is much better than the first half of the season. The 49ers, for the first time this year, are underdogs. I saw on ESPN last night they were going off at 2.5. I know there's an awful lot of frustration amongst 49ers fans right now. I get it. I'm not giving up on Kyle Shanahan, nor am I giving up on Brock Purdy. In a bad season, a bad outcome, a bad week or two here or there doesn't have me trying to refigure out what I think is good football. Kyle Shanahan coaches good football more often than he coaches bad football. I know that there have been an awful lot of blown fourth quarter leads, and there have been an awful lot of things to wring your hands about and be upset about. I get it. I really do. Again, if you would like to fire Kyle Shanahan today, the Chicago Bears, as far as I'm concerned, could not turn around and hire him fast enough. And that means you got a pretty good coach. And to be totally honest, as frustrated as Niner fans have been, and this has been a very frustrating week, and, you know, the aftermath of the loss to Seattle, a lot of people are in their emotions. Let me sort of give you a little perspective. Outside of the Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that won a Super Bowl, outside of the Sean McVay team that won a Super Bowl, and outside of the Kansas City Chiefs, 49er fans should be nothing worse than the fourth happiest fan group in the NFL. And some of you just seem so perpetually miserable that I really don't understand who raised you as sports fans. I know that you think you have some birthright to a Super Bowl, or, you know, tweeting about how much you really want a Super Bowl makes you stand out as a bigger, better fan than the person who's not tweeting that. Newsflash. Everyone wants a Super Bowl. Wanting a Super Bowl badly does nothing to make you a special or unique fan. Everyone wants a Super Bowl. One fan base at the end of every year actually gets one. Now, to say that the team that came in dead last and has the number one pick in the upcoming NFL draft had the exact same kind of season as the team that lost the Super Bowl, to me, just lacks all kinds of perspective. Of course you wanted more. Of course you want to pull the brass ring when you're going around the merry-go-round. But not everybody gets the brass ring. I think Kyle Shanahan gives you a really good chance to pull a brass ring. I think what I know about Kyle Shanahan, to me, is more reassuring as a coach than what I don't know about the next guy who's not even identified. You know, it's a bad week to try to even defend Kyle Shanahan, right? But he is still a really good head coach. And you got to believe me, even if you don't. Just, you know, sometimes you got to place a little faith in Uncle Damon. He might not be perfect. Your expectation of having a perfect coach is where the where the disconnect is, though. Like, if you can't recognize how pretty damn good Shanahan is at this, even through frustrating losses, I think you've lost the plot a little bit. So, like, losing a game, blowing a lead here or there, that's called the price of doing business in the NFL. That's football. Thanks for watching, and please do remember, my good friends, that sports don't build character, they reveal it, and like that, he's gone. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.